Hi, this is my student Scarlett, and if Scarlett, you're ready,
Yes.
we will begin our mini lesson here. Well, have you ever looked up at the clock, perhaps on a Saturday or a Sunday, and realized that your day had just slipped away from you? Maybe you were taking a break from something meaningful, and that 10-minute break turned into a 3 or 4 hour break, and now the day's just gotten away. Well, today we're going to look at a passage from the book Walden by Henry David Thoreau. And Mr. Thoreau had some strong opinions about that subject. And I'm going to read a passage from it. And we are going to go over a reading strategy to help unlock and understand the meanings of his word choices. So some things to consider as we get started here are, what is something in your life that you do deliberately? What's one thing that you consider essential to your life? And what's something that you do that might fritter away your time? Now, as we move on here, I am going to read an excerpt from the book, and in front of you here, you will see there's some directions where I'm going to ask you to circle the words deliberately, essential, and frittered. And if you could please underline the words resignation, genuine, sublime, uncertainty, superfluous, inevitable, and wretchedness. You'll notice as I read this, it's in a little bit different tone than you might be used to, but there's some very good information here that I think is relevant to all of our lives in the digital age. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation, unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like, as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. And if it proved to be mean, why then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it and publish its meanness to the world? Or if it were sublime, to know it by experience and be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. For most men, it appears to me, are in a strange uncertainty about it, whether it is of the devil or of God, and have somewhat hastily concluded that it is the chief end of man here to glorify God and enjoy him forever. Still we live meanly, like ants, though the fable tells us that we were long ago changed into men. Like pygmies we fight with cranes. It is error upon error, and clout upon clout, and our best virtue has for its occasion a superfluous and inevitable wretchedness. Our life is frittered away by detail. Simplify, simplify. Instead of 3 meals a day, if it be necessary, eat but 1. Instead of 100 dishes, 5, and reduce other things in proportion. Okay, now that we have looked at that, we are going to be looking at what is called the Frere model. Now the Frere model, as you can see in front of you, it consists of 4 squares. It helps us learn words thoroughly. It has the definition, characteristics, examples and non-examples. And if we so wish, you can draw a little sketch to help you remember the word too. So what we're going to do is go over the word essential. We're going to do that together. And then secondly, we're going to go over the word deliberately together. And then essential, I will have you kind of lead that one. Okay, deliberately, we'll start on the top left corner, and that is the definition. So that would be in a careful, intentional, and planned way. We look at the characteristics, the next square over of the word deliberately. That would be something done on purpose. Or something we do cautiously. Some examples of the word deliberately. Like a student deliberately pausing before answering their teacher. And then I will ask you when you're finished with that, if you could maybe give me an example of something done deliberately.
Showing up to sports practice on time.
Okay. You have to make a plan. You have to have all your gear on, and you have to be ready to go. You're aware of the time and what time you need to be there, and it's a good example. Now, a non-example, or not doing something deliberately, is basically acting without putting thought into it. And when you're ready, if you could give me an example of something that would be living not deliberately.
Scrolling through your phone.
Okay, perfect. And that, or another example I would have here is perhaps going to the store and not having a budget, or thinking about your future needs and, buying things that maybe aren't important to your life or necessary. I think we're all guilty of that at one time or another. So now we're going to go on to the next Frere model, and that is for the word essential. Now, what do you think would be a definition that you could remember for the word essential?
Something that is important and that you will need to live.
That is perfect. It's something that is necessary or extremely important. Excellent answer. Now, a characteristic of something that is essential.
You need it, it'll always be there, and it can't really be replaced.
That is exactly right. Limited alternatives. You need it. No matter what, you're going to need this. Some people may have different ideas of what is essential to their life or what is not essential to their life, but some things you just can't live without. Now, can you give me an example of some things that would be impossible to live without when you're ready?
Food, shelter, oxygen, and water.
Those are all great examples. Water is essential for life. Food is essential for life. Of course, oxygen is essential. Trees. All great examples of things that are essential. Okay. And then finally, we go to our last section here. Something or a couple examples you can give me of things that are not essential.
Designer clothes, newer phones, and any luxury items.
That is perfect right there in a nutshell. Any luxury item. Sure, we'd like the newest phone or a new pair of jeans, but yes, any luxury items, whether it's a car, phone, anything. Excellent examples. So, great job on the FAIR model, and that can be used for any of the key vocabulary words we pulled out here to help give you a deeper understanding. Now, I have an exercise here, a short exercise to close out the lesson. These are called micro summary frames. And it goes, or starts out, Thoreau believes what is essential and why. So Thoreau believes what to be essential.
Just what you need to live. The things that I listed for the examples of the word essential.
Exactly. A lot of this will be a repeat. That excellent. Why? And you answered that there because you could perish without them if you don't have clean water or shelter. Life can be frittered away by. Could you finish that sentence for me?
Wasting your time just scrolling on your phone instead of doing what's actually important.
Right. Or, yes, things can be added to that. Like, essentially not making plans that are healthy or will benefit us. Because, sorry, pause there. One more. We can live our life deliberately by. How can we live our life deliberately?
Making healthy plans and continuing to follow them.
Perfect. Because we can deliberately make unhealthy plans too. Sometimes we say, I'm going to go home and eat a whole pizza. You could deliberately do that, but that's not a healthy way to live. So, the next time that you encounter a word or a group of words while you're reading and you're not sure about them, you can always use the FAIR model we talked about today to help you understand the word better, which in turn will help you understand the reading better, especially when you have such a great piece of work like Walden that contains, well, quite frankly, a lot of language we don't use anymore. But by using some of these tools, it can really deepen our understanding. So thank you, Scarlett, for being here for this lesson. And
thank you.
That concludes it.